So in today's session or this meeting that we're having, I'm gonna go through 3 points, main 3 points. I mean, I know that you are here today because in a way or another, you are either starting your business or you are thinking about starting a business or you want to gain some skills, maybe shared experiences from people who did that before or still doing it or in the process, and you just wanted to chat about it and have this space where we talk about it and share experiences. But it is such a big topic, right? It has a lot of angles and many aspects and elements that we need to take care of and pay attention for before we start a business or while we are starting a business as well. But in today's session, I'm gonna be in the beginning giving you a little bit background about myself, about the work that I do, so you know where I come from as well, and these ideas that I have, why I'm sharing it with you. Second part would be talking about where I am kind of expert with or have more knowledge in sense of starting a business, which is branding. The importance of branding, the importance of why should you have a brand as a business or as an idea or initiative that you are trying to do. Third part would be going through some exercises. If we have time, I think we go through all of the exercises. If we don't have time, maybe we can try one of the exercises. I'm going to be going from general to specific in a way. The exercises are more like practical exercises, going to be. Hi, Agela. Good to see you. Welcome. So we're gonna see it's a bit interactive, the exercises. I pasted the links already in the chat because you can press on the link itself and then it will take you to the exercise place, the website. It is an online made and it is more practical. It is more about, we will get into there. We will get into there. We'll talk in depth about it. But allow me first just to share a small PowerPoint, and it's not a lot of text. It's just for me while I'm talking to know where how to go and how to sequence my thoughts as well. All right, bear with me for a second. Do you all see the screen now and you see it as in the slideshow? All right, yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned, my name is Omar and I am the founding director. One side of me is the founding director of a company called Artvocacy, and this is the logo of it, and this is how it is written. It is an advocacy through art, if I can say the best way to tell what is advocacy is. So it is taken from the word advocacy, but mixed with art. So raising awareness and being advocating for thoughts through art, through visual communication materials. But it's not like any company, I would say. It's not a company that will do a lot of graphic design or illustrations or visual communication to anybody. It's not meant to be for cars, let's say, or restaurants that only cares about profit, or I don't know, stocks, banks, or whatever like this. It has a specific target audience, and this comes into the ethics and the values of the company itself that I never break, which is it only works for non-profit organizations or initiatives or advocacy campaigns that has the purpose of a humanitarian or social change. Of course, social entrepreneurship is included under this topic because the first purpose of social entrepreneurship is to build a better social conditions around you. Of course, there is some profit in there, but it's not the first primary purpose is the profit, is the money. It's not like that. How? Why? How and why? Why did I do it like this? And why, for example, I closed all the roads and ways around me and all the doors. Although if I make it open, I generate much more money because I will say yes to many projects. But why I started like this? The idea started when I was maybe around 16 or 17, and it wasn't advocacy back then. It was just an ideas in my head, right? So since I was 13 years old, I was always involved in organizational work. I come from a small refugee camp in Lebanon for Palestinians. And because it is a refugee camp, there is a lot of organizations, both international and local, have an interest to work in there and make the situation a little bit better. So in a way that I was literally so involved on a daily basis with organizations, with the projects, initiatives, and so on and so forth. So since 13 years old, I already developed the idea of the social value and this responsibility of being an active part of the society, but in a sustainable way, in a good way, as I perceive it and as I see it. So already this passion came out of me being supportive for this organizational work and being part of it. It developed and developed with me when I was growing up. Uh, and then I discovered the skills that I have with a better visual communicator, I would say, if I can put it this way. Uh, I do better when I draw. I do better when I illustrate stuff. When if I wanted to talk to you, and if we are here together in the room, you will see me like drawing, and probably this is why my hand is just moving a lot right now, because I'm kind of used to draw while I'm talking to you and do all this kind of stuff. Uh, but online stuff didn't help me that much yet. Perhaps later we can put like whiteboard and all this kind of stuff. But I thought that I do actually much better by communicating visually. So I found out that I have some skills by drawing, some skills with organizing stuff, you know, putting things next to each other in an innovative way, in a nice way that attracts your eye and doesn't pull you off because it's too much. Uh, and of course, as I mentioned, I had the passion for social change. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something. I wanted to do something that is relating the two passions. Then, of course, I studied a little bit about visual communication and marketing, a little bit included, and all this kind of stuff. And then I decided to do something about it, to start somewhere. I didn't have the name advocacy at all. I didn't have this like complete ethics and values in my mind that it's gonna be like this and I'm gonna generate that much money, or I didn't have anything at all. It was just an idea that I wanted to do this. And one part of the idea came out actually because I noticed that many organizations, and especially like project-based organizations, like Crossing Borders, like many other grassroots organizations, don't pay attention that much about the brand of their projects. They don't invest or put a lot of time or effort into hiring a good designer, let's say, or taking the aspect that having good brand, a good visual identity, or communicating your results, let's say, of a project results in a nice, simple, digested way is important for your work. So I found out that this is a problem, and I started comparing between organizations and companies. I thought that if there is somebody actually mediating here and coming and just being already just for organizations, but do the same kind of work and quality of companies and how the companies cares about it, then actually this is a bigger, much bigger chance for us to reach out more people in the society. If we are talking to our beneficiaries, will perceive us much easier, will understand that much better. So I invested my time and energy, all of it, in nonprofit organizations to cover this gap. Uh, Also coming from this background, so I kind of started to understand, let's say, the mentality that people in organizations work with, the mentality that when I sit with somebody, an organization, he tells me or she tells me that, oh, they wanted to do a report or they wanted to do a poster and it should be like this and should be like this. I will be like, I relate to you. I totally understand because I was there. I was in the project. I know how is the project working. When they say that they need to show an activist, I know what is an activist is, being an activist for too long, and so on and so forth with things. So it gave me an understanding. It gave me a better connection. I'm so tied to the idea, so I started this the whole idea. Uh, The idea started, huh? Not the project. So I didn't get any project yet, but the idea just started in my mind. And I was like, okay, I'm ready now or whatever. But emotionally, am I ready? I don't know. I was still a little bit, So there was this moment like, okay, I have the ideas ready and I have the skills. I'm ready to do the skills, but I don't have a name. I don't have a brand. I don't have that many connections and all the aspects that startup needs as the base aspects to do your business, to take it from your idea to the table, from the table to another table, from table another table to many other tables, to get referrals, to get all these kind of stuff. So once I was still in Lebanon back then, there is a guy that I used to work with, and we were just sitting chit-chatting with a cup of coffee and cigarette on the balcony. I still remember that was around noon, and it was really nice summery time. So we were sitting outside, and we'll start talking about my idea and how can I do it and how can I take it. And he was a leader for organization himself. So he told me, all right, I have a project idea that it needs this, and I need you to work on it. I will go inside, I will write you an email, describe the whole idea, describe what I want, and then we sit and talk about it. He did that. He sent me an email, and I was sitting, I still remember, in front of the computer and reading all this kind of stuff, right? In my mind, while I'm reading his email, I know that actually I can do this stuff. All right, he needs a logo, he needs posters, he needs brochures and stickers and some other marketing strategy around that idea to get his project into spotlight and make people reach out to and understand his project much better. I can do that. In my heart and my mind, I say that I can do that. But I swear my fingers were going back and forth on the keyboard, and shall I write yes, I take it, nah, and then I deleted it. No, I'm gonna just say no and just speak because it's comfortable choice to say no, right? I can find maybe some other source to get money from, or I don't know how to do it. But if I say yes, it's such a big responsibility. This person is believing in me, and I'm gonna do such a job for this person, and I'm gonna get paid money for a work that I did for something. Do I worth this? Do I have a good value actually to accept this money from? Literally all these ideas were coming in my mind in a small seconds, like it's just running back and forth, like lightning strike on my brain somehow. And I was a bit scared and terrified, I would say. That was my first project. That was my first somebody approaching me for a project, and I didn't know what to say. Shall I say yes or no? Uh, but there was this moment that I was like, all right, what's the worst case scenario? I'm gonna screw up at some point, right? This is the idea was in my mind, that if I screw up at some point, this is my friend. We work together. I mean, I don't need the money. I will tell him I don't need the money. I will tell him that, sorry, I'm gonna do it again. And I worth nothing from this, so don't pay me and forgive me. That was my worst case scenario. It's like, I'm really terrified about that. So I was like, okay, if that's it, it's fine because he's my friend. I'm gonna say yes for it, let's say, and we're gonna work it out. We're gonna solve if there's any problem happen. So I said yes to the project, and I am really terrified. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to sit with him in a meeting and understand his thoughts, because suddenly he is not my friend anymore. He's a client for me right now. I'm gonna get money out of this person. For the first time, I'm gonna do something in my life and get paid for my first dollars, as they say, right? So it was a terrifying experience, but then I did a good job, as he said. He was so happy with the work. It gave me too much confidence when he liked the work. It made me feel like, okay, I can actually take another project. I can do much more. So I started actually to get more work, and given my background, and that's why I wanted to tell my background, why my business started running quite fast, I would say. The people around, you know how organizations connect with each other. I mean, in all our life, we are small circles around. Even on Facebook, it only shows you the circle that you actually care about and the things that you care about. Where you click, you see the circle, but there's another complete world actually that is not connected. That's another circle. So in this circle of organizations, people started to see this work, and they started to look at the projects and the visuals that I created. They liked it. They felt that, wow, this is something we're missing. Actually, we're not finding. Most people did their work in Lebanon on Paint, to be honest, for designs and for printing out some materials. They didn't put that much effort on it, right? So from this person, another organization started to connect. And this is something we're going to come to again in why branding is important. This is the referrals. Referrals is one of the most important factor of branding. While these people experiencing my work, experiencing my products, as if I want to put it in a product way, they felt that they belong to it, they've been represented, and they feel comfortable after having the product. So people started to refer another organizations to me. So I started to get many other referrals, and I started to be much more confident. As I said, I started to take more and more projects, and that was in Lebanon at some point, and then I moved to Greece. I built my network more and more. I moved to Denmark. I built my network more and more. And then in Denmark, I registered it as a company. So now it is a registered company as called Artvocacy in Denmark. Well, I do many things like websites and all printing materials and all this kind of stuff on the side of my work at Crossing Borders. And recently we actually started animation. Another person heard about Artvocacy and joined my company, which I'm going to announce soon in our social media. And this person does animation. So now we expanded somehow the work, because I didn't used to do animation. So now we do actually this kind of stuff. So it started to grow little bit and by little bit. I just wanted to, maybe if you allow me, to show you a couple of logos I made before. It's just like, I'm gonna go fast through them, but in a way, something you see what I've done before. So for example, this is one of my recent work. It's a podcast called Thinking Out Loud. It's about Muslim women living in Denmark, and they will start talking about stuff they experience and all this kind of stuff. Another logo, for example, of my work, which is would be the Bridge Builders organization. I think it started recently here in Denmark. One of initiatives here in Denmark as well. I guess some of people knows about this. It's called treasure hunters or something like this. Yeah, trash hunt. Of course, one of projects led by CB and partners in Denmark called Action Hub, if you guys know about it before. Some of other illustrations, just to see the type of illustrations that I make, and it feels like a brand. It feels like have the same style. So unifying, and you make it as a unique. One of the International Women's Days celebrations, I did this illustration for another project, also Action Hub, same project. Some other illustration for another project called Youth Voices, funded by the EU. Some other illustrations, as you can see here. Oh, and there is one more illustration that disappeared. No worries. But this is the idea, this kind of illustrations I make. Of course, I didn't want to put a lot, and I didn't want to bother you with all the kind of illustrations, because I wanted to go to more important section, which is branding. And this is something you maybe more care more about hearing right now for your things. But if you want to see more, there's Advocacy Design on Instagram. And the links are in the Facebook event. I think Masha put them. If you are interested, you can go there and you look it up more. Okay, so the second part of our talk, and please, if you have any questions, guys, feel free just to jump right now, and it's more like a chat. You don't have to gather them until the end. And also, like this, I can have a chance to sip some coffee or. All right. So second part, I wanted to talk about what is the brand and what is the brand identity. and why it is important that you think about a brand for your work before you actually go out to the light things. But let me just ask, because we are very little, so we can have it like casual and so. Do you guys know what's the brand and what's the brand identity difference between that? Just any thoughts?
I guess a brand is you're asking difference between brand and brand identity. So I
Yeah,
would,
and if you want, you can just say what is a brand if you have any ideas like what brand could be.
I'm thinking more of brand identity, which you already mentioned, when you have a kind of a color palette, or of always using the same font, or kind of like the visual recognizable identity, let's say. And brand in general is, I guess, values of the organization or the company, and the way it functions and operates, I guess.
Totally right. Yeah. Thank you, Masa, for answering. So one of the misconceptions that I actually experienced myself, and whenever we talk about these things, I kind of hear it, is that brand is only the logo and how is like your business card looks like and all these kind of stuff. But as Masha mentioned, brand is the whole organization's how it functions, as she said. Oh, 1 second. Wait, this is not, yeah. All right. So the brand is the story that you tell in your organization. What is it you're working on? What is the feelings that the customers have when they see your work and they relate to, right? It is a personality that in your startup or your work have, and this personality could be like imagine you having a person in front of you, and then this person you are kind of describing them, the way they look, the way they talk, the way they open the door, the way they walk, um, the way they think, their character, even the character, are they funny, are they serious, are they, all of this you can take it literally and translate it into working brand, like your company or an idea or initiative or whatever you want. You can think about your work. Do you need it to actually be serious work? Are you being bold? Are you being confident? Are you being a mediator role? What is the role that you're taking? And you can see that actually from brands to brands, the difference, or the organizations to organizations. There's many organizations that having this bold character, they go out and from their speeches to their billboards to all this kind of stuff to their logo, they are always what's the word, uh, those who make arguments always, right? And provocative. Yeah, this is the word. They are always provocative. They always put something outside there, and they make you either feel comfortable or not comfortable if you disagree. They make you talk about the things all the time, and they make it on purpose. They are bold. They don't feel shy or they don't feel scared. They break rules sometimes and they do it, but they make you talk about them, and they make you remember that this is their style. There's some other organizations, they are more like, the mediator rule, and okay, we don't need to harm the others, but we need to, mediate and be the dialogue and be all this kind of stuff. And this is their identity. This is how their character works. There's brands are just so funny, the way they make their advertisements, the colors are so funky, the fonts they use are so funky, the way they answer their phones if there is a customer service, right? The way you come in the door and they say welcome to you or whatever. It's a whole personality for the organization. The best analogy would be, imagine this work or startup as a person, and you're describing them from character, personality, to the way they dress, the way they talk, and everything. This is how it is the brand. But brand identity, more like, as Mata was mentioning, here it comes more into your identity, the way you look, your business card, your business name itself, the logo, the brand colors, the fonts that you are using. what kind of graphics you put, what is your library of graphics, what kind of images, do you rely on photography or do you rely on graphics, illustrated graphics? Do you do a lot of videos, or you just rely on texts and reports and all this kind of stuff? So this is more like your brand identity, and this is what is so much recognizable in the market, because this is how the people will recognize you. If they see your logo, if they see the font, for example, or colors, you directly think, oh, okay, that's it. That's this company, because you saw something make you remember that. So it is really important to know the difference between brand and brand identity, especially when you are thinking about startup right now, to think and take the whole package together. The idea itself for a startup is really, really not enough. Branding is so important, and that's why we come to why should you care? Why should you care about brand? Well, you cannot just say that I have an idea that is really innovative, that is really never been done before, and it gathers this and this and this. For example, my idea, if I'm taking my example, Artvocacy, I had thought it through, for example, before, right? Like, what do I need to do? Who to need to address? Like all these kind of questions you ask yourself before: mission, vision, what, how, who, the target, and all these questions, you answer them. But if you forget the part of branding, like you knew who you want to work with, but you didn't know how to. You didn't know what tools you wanted to choose as in a brand in total. You don't have a name. You don't have an identity. You don't have a colors plates. You don't have a font. You don't have a business card. These are the basic things, and this is takes like 60%, literally 60% of the whole ideas. And that's why you notice sometimes there is, for example, if we talk about organizations, some organizations make reports, right? And it is such an important report, and it shows you so much information that is really, really important, but yet nobody reads it sometimes, yet it's not that famous, or it's not that published. Or why? Although the product there is amazing and the information that we have is so much important, right? But the thing is, they forget how to do the branding of it. Branding and marketing, which is comes together, all of it is really, really important. If they thought about transforming this report into infographics, right? And or a video that somebody is talking about it in the beginning, and then later on, depends on what is your brand in general and what's your guidelines. But if they work and they thought through the brand, then actually that could have been much more successful. Many other organizations or startups right now as well, they think about the idea, they think about some connections, but they forget the brand, then their ideas dies so fast, or it takes too long actually to get recognizable. So branding and branding identity, really, really important. And why should you care? Because simply great branding shows customers what makes you you. Why I am Artvocacy, why an organization have to come and talk to me, and not go to an office that works on designs and all this kind of stuff and hire the office instead of hiring me. What is the DNA? What is my DNA? What makes me as an organization or as a company me? Why I am different? Why I all this kind of stuff? So there is. Do you guys see a blue line on the screen? What is that blue line? Where is it came from? Whatever.
It
That's
was
not
my
my brand.
mistake. I'm really sorry.
Sorry.
It
Come
was
again?
me by mistake. I'm really sorry. I don't know how I did that. The blue line you mentioned.
Oh, it's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's no
Yeah.
worries. Yeah, as long as you're not bothered with it, it's fine. But just know it's not my brand. Anyway, so for example, for instance, I want to give example about this Fair Harvest coffee, right? And you can read the text next to it, right? It's if you look at it, you kind of like get a feeling of what kind of brand of this or what brand identity they're thinking about. It's not just normal coffee shop. And their logo is quite unique as well in a way. It's not just beans of coffee, and it's made in a way that gives you this feelings of something else, like something else about this coffee shop. It's not only a coffee shop, right? the usage of tree, the usage of the circle, why they made it a circle, every single detail is matter in this. So they thought about the circle is always a community, is always being a social. You always kind of like sit in a circle when you're a lot and you take a look at each other and talk to each other. Circles always means this secure community. Uh, there is a whole architecture designed right now. If you see the pictures from Copenhagen photography clubs, from above, there's all these in Copenhagen circled community places, and then it's like circles next to each other. Most like, I guess, summer houses in Copenhagen, but it's made actually in this architecture. It's just to actually make people more social and using this social things. And the trains, actually, the way they did sometimes the seats facing each other is just to make people more social, as in a closed circle like this. The usage of the tree here makes you feel that they are environmental, and they are actually, this shop is caring about fair trade and all the aspects of being environmental. So they cared about that, and they wanted to show it in their brand and in their logo somehow. I just wanted to give as an example right now. All right. Branding also builds an emotional connection to your customers, to the people who deals with you and gets their products from you. What do I mean with this? People most of the time, they just don't want products. It's not just about the products, because there's hundreds of billions of products in the world, and you can find literally like millions of quality of these products. What they care about is a whole experience. It's not just, I'm going to buy this pair of pants from this place, because then you can actually find many other things. But the thing is, how do I emotionally connect to this place? Why do I feel, I don't know, what do I feel Starbucks, let's say for an instance, represents me as a person? Why do I like my coffee from here, not from there? Although, let's be honest, there is many other shops that makes much better coffee as a product than Starbucks. But why their brand talks to you? What is it in there makes you feel connected emotionally? So people, in a way, they like to be represented by brand. They like to talk about their brands. Oh, I wear this perfume because it's, you know, the brand, what it is that makes you this. I wear this clothes, this kind of sport clothes. And I want to give example here. There is this ad made by Nike. Despite if we agree on Nike as ethical or not ethical, or they produce their things with a good matter or whatever, despite that, I'm talking about like branding and marketing perspective here. They made an ad that is really good in terms of marketing, and this connecting emotional, making an emotional experience connection with their customers. They wanted to say actually, and this is the link of the ad here. If you want, you can see it later. I can show you I can share with you the PowerPoint, but I would rather just talk about it so fast so we can move on. The idea is that they were filming in a marathon, and these people, they wanted to say that they are using Nike's, you know, sport equipment and all these clothes, wearing clothes and all this kind of stuff. But in this ad, they didn't film the first person who arrived and won the whole marathon. It wasn't a classic ad of an NBA player who just jumped with his Nike shoes and put the ball in the basket and was so winning and happy. No, they didn't just wanted to show the successful or those who made it or all this kind of stuff. They wanted also to, on emotional level, connect to those people who trying to do it. Their slogan is just do it, but they wanted also to connect to the people who's trying to do it as well. So this person, she was in the end of the line. She was the last person to arrive, but she kept trying to run. They were all arrived and they all just done with the things, but she was the only person. And there were actually, they would show that people started to clean the streets as she is late, like she's very late from the marathon. But they connected. Imagine how many people. We are not all athletes. We cannot all do it so fast like this. There is like billions of us that cannot just do it like this. We try to do it, but we still like so not done with it and not ready to do it. So they wanted to connect on an emotional level with these people. So imagine these people who watch this, they get represented by this brand somehow. So they felt that, okay, I also can be represented by Nike. And I also feel connected to that brand. So this emotional level, it is really important how you connect with your brand. Uh, on my level, I would say in my company, as an example, uh, one of the things that works for me, and I take this as a concept always, and one of the ethics to connect emotionally with my people or customers, is that I understand that they don't know about design that much. I take that into consideration. I know that when they're coming and talking to me, they have ideas, and they probably so many other designs, and they're just so confused, and they don't know which one they wanted to pick up. And sometimes they come with a comment, sometimes they delete the comment, sometimes they want to change all the time. But why my customers feel so emotionally connected to Artvocacy when I work with them and they keep working with me is because I always make them feel the ownership of the work that I do. I never talked with my customers in a way that, hey, you don't understand about designs. That's why you hired me. Leave me alone. I can do it for you and you take the result. No, I always took their comments and their ideas into consideration. I worked it out. I put my skills as a designer in it and turn it to something works, yet they feel they did it, not me. I was just a tool there and doing it for them. So when the final product is there for them, they feel they did it. They feel so connected to this product. They feel that I didn't come from above and just told them, no, you cannot do it, or it's not working, or just go find another person. I don't work well with this. Because eventually they are the people going to use it, not me. And if I liked it a lot, I will share it on my website and all this kind of stuff. If I don't like it and I feel that I am as a company also not kind of very much connected to it, but they like it, I will put their needs and their feelings above mine, and I will just be like okay with it in a way. So that's one of the examples that kind of like related to, yeah. Maja, you're keeping the time, right? And all right. Third part, one more point would be great branding gives you purpose and direction. When you have the branding, and I'm talking about the branding, not branding identity here, not only the colors, not only the logos and all the stuff, but the whole overall branding of your startup and all this stuff. It gives you always a purpose. It gives you a direction, and it gives you a line that you work on somehow, and that would be fitting with your ethics, values, and values of the company, relating you always to the vision and the mission. You always have that purpose you wanted to reach to, although sometimes it changes. And I agree, sometimes on the way you